Thank you very much for tuning back in. My name is Fonny. In my channel, I talk about my houseplant and my Hoyas. In today's video, I want to respond to one of the subscribers who asked me, I think a couple of months ago, to create a Hoya wish list. I really wanted to do that, but it's quite difficult to have a Hoya wish list for 2022 because there is just way too many Hoyas that I wanted to try on. And I spend a couple of months, unfortunately, to kind of summarize and to identify which Hoyas I really want to obtain. And I would say in this list, there is a number of Hoyas that I probably wouldn't really obtain for a relatively long time, because unless the price has significantly gone down to affordable range, I don't think I'm going to spend like up to 200 euros for 2 leaves, 1 node. However, I do want to share the list with you, so then maybe you will be interested to get them, and maybe it could be a video showing you a list of Hoyas that you probably haven't heard of. So let's check out the list. But before that, if you are interested in this type of content and you don't want to miss out next time when I posted new videos, please feel free to subscribe to my channel and you will not miss out next time when I post a new video. So the first one is Hoya Decipulae. This is a Hoya that I just recently saw. It is from a video that is created by Rose. This Hoya is described by one of her friend, Ignacio, mentioning about 3 Hoyas that he really enjoy. So this Hoya is a Hoya that is recently discovered in 2019 in Sumatra. And this Hoya is named as Decipulae because the shape of the flower is like a mini cage. And to me, I found that the leaf shape is relatively common. It's relatively large, maybe like this size. However, the most interesting part that I am interested in is the shape of the flower. If you can see from the picture, it looks like a mini whisk, like an egg whisk, and it also looked like what it mentioned, a mini cage. In accordance to Hoya Passion, she say that the whisk shape of the flower will last almost 20 days. And she say that this Hoya will eventually open up and it looks like a star shape, a very thin star shape. I found this to be super interesting because of the shape of the flower. Then we move on to the second one, which is Hoya Nyhuusiae. Hoya Nyhuusiae is endemic to Borneo, and it is named after a very well-known and well-respected Swedish Hoya expert, Hoya Nyhuusiae. I first heard of this Hoya when I saw the tour of her home with Summerrain Oak. And I found this Hoya to be very special when it comes to the proportion of the flower and the leaf. You can see that the flower and the leaf is almost in the same size. And sometimes if the umbel is bigger with a couple of flower at the same umbel, the flower could be a couple times larger than the leaf itself. I think this one is very special because most of the time when the leaf comes small, the flower will come small as well. And this one, I would like to try this out. However, I heard that it may not be a very easy Hoya to keep because the natural environment is located in altitude in 1,800 meters. So I assume that it will like to have colder temperature. Could be easy for me because where I live is relatively cold in spring. Now I think it's around like 0 to 10 Celsius degree in where I live. So hopefully I will manage to get my hands on with Hoya Nyhuusiae. Then we move on to the third Hoya. That is Hoya SPNS 12323. The reason why I am interested in NS12323 is because of the tiny leaves that comes together with it. If you know, and I have already mentioned, I really like tiny, small Hoya leaf. And this particular Hoya gives you even more. Not just having a small leaf, but the pattern and also the vein on the leaf is very detailed. If you look closer, you may even associate with Nyhuusiae New Guinea ghost. I heard that this particular Hoya will turn red or purple if you give additional sunlight. I have not got myself lucky enough to get this Hoya. If I manage to do that, I will let you know if it looks like New Guinea ghost or it actually will have the sun stressing effect. But this Hoya is relatively new. I haven't been able to find any information about NS12323. The only thing that I can guess is that this is a relatively new Hoya that is discovered by Natalie Simonson, which you can tell from the coding of this Hoya. Hope one day I'll be able to get this Hoya and share a little bit more with you on the information of this Hoya. Then we'll move on to the fourth one. It is Hoya Surisana. Hoya Surisana is a relatively new species that is recently discovered, and it is named after a Thai Hoya expert. Her name is Surisa Somadi. This Hoya is known to be found in West Sulawesi mountains. It is having an elevation of 500 meter. So I believe this Hoya may like slightly colder environment. And the reason why I like this Hoya is because of the flower. If you take a closer look at the flower, you will notice that the flower is not having a single tone in the corolla, but instead next to the corolla you see there are some green leaf-like objects around it, and together with the corona that is in a purple color. But the corona is not just in purple color, you can also see the center is white or creamy color. So it just have a really complex composition of different colors in the flower. In terms of the leaf, I would say the leaf is relatively simple, not like very plain. Obviously, it also have some veiny leaf, but I think it's kind of thin. I think this one is a relatively expensive Hoya to obtain. Maybe one day I can have it and hopefully I can show you. But as far as today, I don't think I'm going to spend that much money on the cutting with one node and two leaf, but it's a really beautiful flower. Then we move on to the fifth one. It is Hoya Solaniflora. The first time I noted this Hoya is from the same video that I mentioned in Toril's home. She showed that this one is a very small, pointy leaf Hoya. I haven't seen the flower on that video, but then I do a little bit of research and I found this flower to be very attractive. It is similar to Hoya Carey's flower. It is like a star shape. The corona is yellow, very pale yellow color. You see that the corolla not just have white, but it has very pale pink in the center, which is surrounding the corona. Then it transitioned to white all the way to the edge. The flower itself looks relatively larger compared to the leaf. Can't confirm you that because I have never seen this in person, but just based on the picture, it looks like the flower is relatively big compared to the leaf. And also the leaf is pointy, thin, small leaves, which is one of my thing. I really like small leaf Hoyas. This Hoya can be found in different mountains, in different provinces of Papua New Guinea. That's pretty much everything I found from the origin of this Hoya. So yeah, hopefully one day I will manage to find it as well. The sixth one is Hoya Sulawesiana. From the name, you probably can guess where that is from. It is from Sulawesi. It is found in lower mountains around 100 to 300 meter. This Hoya has one thing different from what I usually like. It has relatively large leaf. However, the leaf is very prehistoric look like. It looks like something existed many years ago. And not just about that, the leaf shape is relatively long, but also narrow. It gives it a very unique kind of appearance as Hoya leaf. And not just about the Hoya leaf, that is very interesting, but also it has very like a red bean size flower. The flower has very, if not the most furry texture I've ever seen. From the picture, you can see that it has very long hair on the corolla. The corolla is not just a plain texture, but it's almost like a sheet of fur on top of the corolla. And the corona, it's purple, but because of the hair is more like a shiny silver color, it made a really interesting contrast. I would say it could assemble and remind me with the flower of Hoya GPS 735. I have never flowered my Hoya GPS 735. However, in the video you can see that I have my first peduncle forming. It is an old peduncle from the plant I have obtained, but once the spring hit, I slowly see the formation of the bud. So hopefully I will have a new video on flowering Hoya GPS 735. The seventh one is Hoya Desvoeuxensis. It is a Hoya that I found to be interesting because of the flower. If you take a look at the picture here, the flower is pink, not just the corolla, but the corona is also pinkish. It has a bit of creamy edges on the corona, but the entire flower is just really romantic. It is a light pink color that covers the entire flower. Yeah, that's why I like it. And also the flower is relatively large. It's like a Hoya patella type of flower shape. With regard to the leaf, I would say the leaf is more simplistic. I think it could be something similar to patella. I'm not really sure. The only thing that I found on internet is about the Hoya is native to Fiji. That's everything I found about Hoya Desvoeuxensis. So let me know in the comment box down below if you have experience with this Hoya and what kind of leaf texture it is like. Then we move on to the eighth one, Hoya SP Papua. This Hoya I have seen multiple times on Instagram. It is very new, I believe. It is probably a new species discovered. The only thing that I can assemble with is it looks very similar to Hoya serpens, but Hoya serpens has a very thick succulent leaf shape. But this one here, it almost like it's super thin. But the reason why I really like it is because of the flower is very different from Hoya serpens. If you know about Hoya serpens, it has flowers similar to Hoya Mathilde because of the correlation between the two species. And this particular flower, it is like a very star-shaped corolla, but it also have a very thin, pointy, elongated corolla. And the corona is like yellow color. The combination of the two color may not be so prominent. However, I think the shape of the corolla is very different from normal small leaf Hoya. In particular, as you know about me, I really like small tiny leaves Hoya, and this one has all of the characteristic I like in the leaves. The ninth one is also named as Hoya sp Papua. I think it is because the Hoya is relatively new. It has not been given a name yet. That's why both the 8th and the 9th one is called Hoya sp Papua, because it is found in Papua. This Hoya is very special on the flowers. If you take a look at the flower, it would be furry, or I would say it is very fuzzy. I know that in my Hoya flowering episode, Hoya Sulawesiana, I mentioned about the furriness on the flower. I think that this particular flower could be a larger form of Hoya Sulawesiana. Here you see that the flower is almost like the size of patella, but it is having a fuzzy edge on the corolla, and it also have a very pleasant color. With regard to the leaf shape, I think it's less of a super special characteristic. It's a plain green color, and in the middle it has a prominent line. So I would go for the flower. The last one is Hoya Crassipetiolata. I am surprised actually I managed to speak this name. It was a hard one. But Hoya Crassipetiolata, see, I can't do it anymore. So this Hoya, the reason why I like it is because of the leaf pattern. The leaf pattern of this one, I would say it's the most complex. We have really complex flower in this video, but this one, I would say it has a really complex combination of color in the leaf. You can see that there are different tones and different shades of green. You have the very prominent vein, but at the same time it got some patchy splashes. So this one looks like it is like a camouflage. I need to do a correction. It is Hoya Crassipetiolata splash. That is on my wish list. I know that it is a normal form that doesn't have the splash, but I found that the splash form is very special when it combines all of the colors together. Maybe this one could be the most obtainable Hoya in this list. It's just that it's really expensive again. But let's see, hopefully in the springtime people manage to propagate, to grow a lot more of the Hoya, so then it's easier for them to sell cuttings. All right, these are the 10 Hoyas that I am interested, and they are all on my wish list for 2022. As I mentioned, none of them are very cheap, so I'm not going to buy all of them, but it is something that I have in mind. If I found there is a good deal, maybe I will try it out. But I have explained the reason and a little bit of information about their background. Hopefully that will be helpful, and you will find it interesting, and it is something new that you have not seen before. Let me know in the comment box down below what are your wish lists, Hoya, in 2022, and which one in my list you will be interested in try as well. So if you are interested in this type of content, please feel free to subscribe to my channel, and I normally post a video once or even twice because now it's spring, I got more stuff that I want to show you. Until next time, I wish everyone is having a good day, and I will see you next time.